Cam Davis, Friends of Southwest Virginia.
Hi, everyone. I know I'm between us and everybody getting out of here, so I am going to go through the rest. And I thought the best way to kind of wrap us up, but also introduce to some, is telling you a little bit what in the world is a regional community development and a marketing organization. Like, what do we do? That's what I always like to say to folks is like, do you know what we do? So a lot of people see this brand throughout our region. It's our Southwest Virginia brand. It was developed back in 2015. It was a region-wide effort. And I always like to figure out what's behind it. So I want to tell you a little bit about how our organization was founded and why and what our focus areas and how you can engage with us. So I'm going to take us back to the late 90s, early 2000s, when we were, as a region, as a whole Southwest Virginia region, we're seeing not only the loss of a lot of coal and manufacturing positions and jobs, we were also seeing a loss of industry. And a lot of leaders throughout the region, in Richmond, local leaders, elected leaders, leaders all over, were trying to figure out how can we create economic development around our cultural and heritage assets. And they used an economic development term called the creative economy. And what it is, it's taking what we have here culturally and our based assets, our natural beauty, and how do we create economic development around that. And two organizations were formed out of that. And Carrie mentioned one, the Crooked Road, and the other one was Round the Mountain Artisans. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about our artisan network here in a little bit. But those two initiatives kicked off in 2004, as Carrie told you. And they took off. I mean, a lot of people in this room were involved. A lot of people who've been around for a long time were part of that grassroots effort. And that's what it took. It took everybody pulling together from the entire region. And so all of a sudden you had what I call, this is how the creative economy fit into our economic development process. Really being able to look at our agriculture, our manufacturing, our small business, our traditional industry, and all of a sudden you had the creative economy. And so as those things were really going well, then we fast forward about 5 years, and about 2009, the Southwest Virginia Cultural Heritage Foundation was formed. This was a group of leaders throughout the region. This is a board of directors. It is appointed by the governor. We have 5 legislators throughout the region on this board, as well as planning district directors and other key individuals. Actually, Mr. Kevin Bird sits on this board currently. And they really give that vision of like what's going on in the region, how can we promote this creative economy, how can we work together? And as they started working together, they realized that, we all have full-time jobs, but who's going to do this work? And so Friends of Southwest Virginia was formed. And really the focus here is just really working in partnership with the region to generate that economic development throughout the creative economy. So that's what Friends of Southwest Virginia does. Now, that's kind of the background of who we are. So when you see this brand, you can kind of see maybe the 2 organizations that are behind it. Now, let me tell you our 4 main focus areas. This is what we do. I always talk about, people are like, what exactly, do you do and how do you do it? Well, first, it's good to know when we all talk about Southwest Virginia, everybody has their own, there's so many different things. You've got Go Virginia regions and you've got different things. This is what we focus on. It's also the same footprint that Carrie shared with you. It's the 19 counties, 53 towns, and 4 cities throughout Southwest, so you can kind of familiarize yourself with this. It's about 8,500 square miles, and I think this week I feel like I've been that far. I was in Lee and Scott and Wise County on Monday, and Tazewell on Tuesday, and back up here yesterday in Montgomery, and I'm heading to Withville before I get back into Washington County tonight. So kind of all over, but and I think a couple weeks ago I was in Patrick and Floyd and Grayson, so we're definitely around. Our 4 main focus areas that I really want to dive into, we really focus on region-wide community development, as well as region marketing. We run the Southwest Virginia Cultural Center. Most of you all may know it as Heartwood. We run that building, and then we also oversee the Round the Mountain Artisan Trails. So let's talk a little bit about community development. What does that mean? What do? We do a few different things in community development. First, we do regional community development initiatives. Each of these things that are listed here, this is just a snapshot, are things that we are very actively involved in. We may have been active in the inception, or we currently have an active place at the table. And so really looking at how can communities work together through a lot of these things. One things that we are starting to, and we're excited to see it grow its legs and grow is the Clinch River Valley Initiative, the Curvy Initiative around the Clinch River. We've really taken a leadership role in helping, working with that board to become established as a nonprofit and in hiring their first executive director. So really helping play in a capacity building efforts in a lot of these things. We also do regional planning projects. This is master planning projects that we have going on throughout the region. We found that a lot of times if we do master planning projects and things like that, it can give us the groundwork as we go forward to do some infrastructure and development projects, but we need to kind of have the plan going forward. So we just are wrapping up a outdoor assessment plan in the Cumberland Plateau. We've also just wrapped up a master planning on the Creeper Trail and a lot of different areas. And then we move into product development. We actually have wrapped up. A lot of these things we've been working on for years, and we've got some that are really close to getting started. We're going through the process of bidding and signing contracts and things like that. One you may recognize is the New River Center. We're the fiscal agent for that project, and it's a team approach. This is not just us. This is everybody from the region, the county administrator level, the town level, the local partners. I mean, it is definitely from the steering committees to all the partners involved. It takes the whole village to get these things done. So, but we are proud of that. We're part of the Damascus Trail Opening Center. That's a trailhead center there in Damascus, run by the Appalachian Trail Conservancy, and that just officially opened last Friday. So we're very excited to see visitors being able to access that. What's it mean about marketing? We are a regional destination marketing organization for the 19 counties. We do work really closely with the Heart of Appalachia team that's in the coalfields that also helps market that area. We really try to just increase the visibility of Southwest Virginia. One of the ways we do that is through our website, and I'll tell you that if you have events going on, you can work with David on this, but make sure your events are on virginia.org. It's our state website, and that feeds to our website. I think it feeds to Carrie's website, so you don't have to worry about putting it on all the websites. I always say virginia.org is a great resource, and we will feed in your projects, and then we work with David and some other folks to figure out how to elevate some of the larger events to visitors, to get them to use our platforms to help bring in visitors to those events. We also have a podcast that we're going to be launching again this fall. We wrapped up our season 2 this spring, and our last 4 episodes were featured on Montgomery County and some of the things going on here. So that was a lot of fun, and so that will launch again probably, I'm going to say October, November-ish. And then some of the other marketing things we offer, we have a MAP program. And what MAP is, it's a marketing access program. We work with a lot of small business, some tourism departments, things like that to help with their marketing efforts. We help with capacity building. So let's say someone needed a website or a social media plan or a brochure design. We will work with them hand in hand to do that at a very reduced cost. So we really use our capacity, our skills on our team to be able to do that. We also have a digital asset management system, which if you're interested in, what that is, if you want photos, videos, things like that, open sourced that can be used on your promotional materials, on your websites, things like that, we do offer that. And so we're actually in the process over the next 6 to 8 months updating a lot of our video and photography collateral, and so that will be going on there. We'll be up here in Montgomery County and Blacksburg and Christiansburg doing getting some of that, using some which you have, but it's open sourced. So that means that you can use it on, economic development plans or strategic plans, things like that. It's a really good asset base that you can use. And then we also do community visits where we'll work with local tourism offices on strategic planning. And during the pandemic, we started doing virtual visits, and these are a lot of fun. You can go to our YouTube channel. We would just go into communities and show what there was to do. It's very much a social media driven video. It's not overly produced. It's very like cell phone, and we got a ton of engagement on those. People were like, okay, I can go to this town and now I know what to do, I know how to travel. So we also run the Cultural Center, I always say AKA Heartwood, which opened in 2011. We really see it as a regional gateway into the region. We have artisans. We have a little bit less than 200 artisans that are juried and that we have their art in there. We also do a lot of events and really just setting that standard and being that key visitor center for the region, where one of the things I've been focusing on lately is making sure that our front desk teams and things like that are very familiar with the region. We're starting to do a lot of what I called field trips for the team, but getting our front desk team out into the region on day trips so they can see, not only be at these attractions, eat in the restaurants, drive there. That way they can really tell our guests that are coming in up and down 81 what to do and how to go, and really here's how to get there and here's the key things. So that's really important to me, not just to tell the story about what's going on in Abingdon and Bristol, but what's going on throughout the entire region, like knowing, yes, they've got a big job. So, but we have that. And also around the mountain, this is our what we call Artisan Network. As I mentioned earlier, this launched in 2004 and has just been an incredible resource to our entire region. Currently, coming out of COVID, we've got about 180 members. 172 of them are juried into the Cultural Center. That means that we can sell their products. And we've gone through that process where they jury. We have jury members, the people from around the mountain, really looking at is this type of product that we want and, to be able to sell. Our sales are up. Our numbers are up at the center, so that is really good. We've come back. And then really what we do for Around the Mountain is we really focus on promoting our artisans. We're really looking at taking a deep dive actually right now into the trails that most of you all, or some of you all may be aware of, our artisan trails, really putting some life back into those and getting those. There was so much work done on those that's something we really want to focus on, as well as education and artisan events. And then finally, the top three things that we're looking at, we're getting ready to launch a 2023 branding and marketing campaign. We're in the process right now of developing that. We also have several new development projects we're looking at. There's several within this part of the region that we are looking at, as well as expansion around the mountain. If you want to know more about us, we have an annual report on our website, and that you can grab and see we've got going on. And finally, you can follow us on social, and I think that is all. So thank you all so much. This was great. Thank you.